So welcome to the Manufacturing Leadership Panel. My name is Veit, part of the Asana team. I'm really grateful that you're here today for the manufacturing panel. So as you all know, manufacturing is under pressure. The economic pressures, the global pressures, a lot of things are going on. So it's about the little margins. So I'm pretty excited to invite you to a panel about the margins. And especially with our customer KW Automotive, we are looking into how they have changed their communication, how they've broken down the silos. It's pretty much from the floor where everything is happening to the top floor. So I hope you enjoy the session today, and I'm pretty excited about what we saw this morning already. And now I'm also pretty excited to invite two exceptional leaders from KW Automotive. And KW Automotive has spent like over 30 years in providing high professional components for suspensions, and they are serving companies and brands like Lamborghini, Audi, Mercedes, AMG. So pretty much exciting. So I'm happy that and delighted that I have two personalities today. One is Mara Wohlfahrt. She is head of organizational development, and Clarissa Kübler, process implementation lead from KW Automotive. Welcome on stage. Welcome.
Thank you.
Take a seat. Take a seat. So, Mara, we had an exciting video this morning already playing. We felt the emotions. Maybe you can share more details about KW Automotive and how your business has evolved over the years.
Sure, I'd love to. So, as you mentioned, KW Automotive is a global leader in high-performance suspension technology. For 30 years, we've been developing and building coilover suspension for both race cars and street cars. Our product range spans multiple brands and price segments with which we address various target groups. Our KW brand promise is to have the perfect solution for every demand. Our headquarters is located in Germany, and in Germany, we're specialized in highly individualized products in the batch size of one. In our manufacturing, we have a very high vertical integration. It means that nearly 70% of the parts we use in our kits can be manufactured in-house.
Right.
Our in-house manufacturing is specialized in small batches as well. So our production contains mechanical manufacturing, sheet metal processing, welding, powder coating, and various assembly lines. And this high vertical integration gives us the necessary flexibility.
Right.
That is, enormous. Yeah, that's very necessary for our core business in the aftermarket. In the last 5 years, KW has had a remarkable growth. In 2020, we were 350 employees, mainly located in our headquarters in Germany and some smaller sales subsidiaries around the world, to now nearly 1,000 employees.
Wow.
And this growth included the addition of some major production sites located in Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, and China. And each location has their unique strength. So, as I mentioned, in Germany, we're specialized in highly individualized products in a batch size of one. In Spain and China, for example, we have fully automated production lines for a more serial manufacturing. And as the company grew, as our workload increased, we faced more and more struggle with collaboration and communication. So we moved beyond cross-functional teamwork to navigate between subsidiaries, countries, cultures.
Right.
And so we reached a point where we had to change the way we were working.
Yeah, right. And we're very proud of our hidden champions from Germany, dominating a market niche. So it's great having you here. Clarissa, question to you. How did you previously coordinate the work between production, R&D, and marketing? How did you do that before?
I would say in the past, as you all may know, most of the communication was via email. A lot of personal meetings. We were using a lot of Excel files to track our projects, to track our status, and to track all of our work. The problem is with these, especially, for example, in the R&D department, you start with like one Excel file, and then every engineer starts to upgrade it or to change it, and now you have like different versions of every file. And then when it comes to cross-functional communication, for example, to the marketing department, they were working with a Microsoft Planner,
Right.
and both of the tools, they don't fit together. So we always had like these splits between the departments, and yeah, it was kind of hard. And we were using a wide tool landscape with like different tools, so like in every department, and we did not have a real interface between all
Right.
of them.
Interesting. Yeah. And difficult on the same side. I mean, how do you ensure, Mara, that teams are prioritizing the work that really matters?
That was a real challenge for us. As Clarissa mentioned, we had various tools, so we were just lacking in transparency. Each team tried to prioritize the work, but with their tool and in their way. So in development, like she said, there was the Excel sheet with all the projects, but the Excel sheet didn't contain all the work, didn't contain all the information. So there was still a lot of information scattered across the tools, a lot of information in people's heads. So even on a team level, it was hard to get an overview of the work and prioritize the work. But it got even more complex for management, because if you wanted to have an overview of the work and the projects over several departments, it was even harder to get the overview because they were all using different tools. And this has significantly changed since we use Asana. All tasks, all projects, all priorities are now in one shared tool. And for the first time, we have the necessary visibility to really prioritize our work.
Okay. And this is like a good segue to the question, after implementing the work management solution, what is the early impact of doing it? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so we saw an impact, quite a way. We implemented Asana as our work management software throughout the whole organization. Meaning we implemented it simultaneously over 15 departments. Now, 9 months into the implementation, we have 450 users in one shared platform. And we want to use Asana as our work management software, as our collaboration tool, as our communication tool.
Right.
So we set the goal to eliminate internal email communication by the end of the year. And we're not there yet completely, but I would say we're well on our way and still have some time left. And early impact, or the huge benefit that was visible right away, was the visibility and the transparency. For the first time, as I said, the team managers had a visibility of the team's work, of their workload. So that made it possible to coordinate and align priorities. A great example for that is from our development department. Within the first month, they managed over 100 projects in Asana. And the development manager was thrilled. For the first time, he had that transparency, and he built himself a portfolio where he integrated all the projects, put some custom fields with, for him, necessary information, and created a dashboard. And in that dashboard, at one glance, he has all the information he needs. He sees who's responsible for what projects, what is the status of the project, so that he can interfere whenever a project gets critical. And a lot of further reports with, for him, necessary information. So that was a real game changer for him. Another benefit we saw early were the automations, because with the automations, with the rules integrated in Asana, we can build workflows, build processes, and streamline repetitive tasks.
Right.
So that we can focus more on strategic work. A colleague of mine recently even said that she can't remember how we managed our work before Asana. And when she said that, I said I really, really agree to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Never look back.
Yeah, it's really now 9 months into the implementation, and it's just unimaginable to go back.
And it was quite a bold statement, like we get rid of internal email, which sounds
It's a
so
huge step.
easy.
It's a huge
Yeah.
step, and a lot of people, of course, are struggling with that because
Yeah.
that's what we're used to for years, communicating via email. But yeah, as I said, I think we're well on our way.
Good. Clarissa, I know you were heavily involved into the implementation side of that story. So what specific cross-functional workflows evolved and how?
Yeah, as Mara mentioned, we implemented Asana all in one, so the whole organization in once. And for this reason, we wanted to create a use case that everybody that uses Asana now can use. And so we created projects for every department, kind of request project. So whenever you have a task that goes out to another department, outside of your department, you can set this task into the request projects, and you had like a way to use Asana from the beginning on. And then after some times, we tried to bring more complex use cases into Asana, or more complex workflows. For example, one of our dampers consists out of 150 to 200 separate parts, and each of them parts must run through a prototyping process. So it starts from the setting into the ERP system, from the master data, and it ends to the approval for the serial production. And this workflow runs through 11 to 12 different departments. And this was one of the workflows we implemented, and it starts, as mentioned, in the ERP system and runs through all the departments. And we're still on our way to bring more of the workflows into Asana. Yeah.
Interesting. And different user groups also then in, like, I don't know, media companies. Mara, especially, how has adoption of Asana landed with engineering and the production teams?
Yeah. So it's landed very positively with both engineering and production. In the past years, we've invested heavily in the automation of our internal logistics and our production processes. Those are optimizations that are very highly visible and measurable. But on the other hand, the administrative workflows didn't receive the same level of attention. And this imbalance became increasingly problematic through the growth. We were, as I also already mentioned, lacking the transparency. It was often unclear who was working on what and what work needed to be done.
Yeah.
And that was especially problematic for cross-functional processes, like, for example, the development.
Right.
The development process starts in engineering, so work relevant for production was often overlooked. And this even led to project delays because important aspects were missed when the prototype turned into a serial part. So for engineering now, Asana is our core project management tool, the collaboration tool. Tasks relevant to all departments are in Asana.
Right.
Priorities are set. You can always see the status of a project. So for the first time, they have that transparency, and the collaboration between the different departments got increasingly better, especially for engineering and production. In production, we still use our ERP system, and that won't change. It's mainly how production interacts with other departments that has changed.
Yeah.
It's those cross-functional processes that involve production that are now streamlined in Asana. And some examples are the prototype process or our request project. So there's a good receiving request, there is a maintenance request, there is a shipping date request, and a lot of different use cases that involve production. And through that, the collaboration and communication significantly improved because everybody's working in one shared platform. So Asana really bridges the gap between the different departments.
Nice. Amazing. Like, if you're looking at the current tech stack, Clarissa, especially as you also have been involved in the implementation, how does such a work management platform sits in such a tech stack you have, and especially alongside your ERP?
So yeah, first of all, we wanted to keep like our tools we were using, like the ERP system, as we're using it right now, and we wanted to keep it as it is. Yeah, the ERP system is for the master data. We have an overview about all the customer orders, about our production, about manufacturing. But yeah, when it comes to collaboration, the ERP system ends, and for this reason, we build an interface between Asana and our ERP system. And in the, for example, when something happens in the ERP system, it's like a trigger to set a task into Asana and to start a workflow, or just a normal task. For example, when someone changes the store location of a single part into the ERP system, a task is automatically created for the internal logistics department, so they have to physically store the part to the new location. Or as the mentioned, prototyping process, it starts in the ERP system when you enter the part out of the part number, and then the first task runs where the colleagues need to put the master data of the part into the ERP system, and then later, when the purchasing department needs to place the order for the part, for example, and both systems are like always connected, and that's how we're using it right now.
Great. Thank you. And now, this morning we heard a lot about AI, agentic AI, and now teammates are on the horizon. So Mara, how is AI and AI Studio, the Asana product, enabled you to drive further optimization?
So AI Studio really helped us drive further optimization. Asana already comes with a range of built-in AI functionalities. For example, the chatbot or the AI summary of tasks and comments, the AI status update. Those are all already functionalities that free up time, that reduce manual effort. So they're already a huge benefit. But with AI Studio, we took it then a step further by integrating AI directly into our workflows. And examples for that is our IT ticketing. So an IT ticket comes in, it gets viewed by the AI, categorized, and then assigned to the responsible person. And that really accelerated our IT ticket handling. Another example would be our customer support or customer requests. They also come into Asana, get classified, and then the AI even drafts a response to the customer according to information from previously answered requests. And that really helped us to have more consistent responses to the customer. In general, the AI in Asana has enormous potential because the AI is integrated directly in the tool we use every day. That makes it so easy for the users to adapt. And also, Asana is the place where we manage all our work. So it's basically our huge work database where the AI can work with. And we even got the chance to be part of the early beta of the AI teammates. It's really a truly fascinating development. The teammate really feels like an actual teammate. You can assign it tasks, see how it approaches the tasks, give feedback, and watch it adapt according to your feedback. And it learns from you and your team, knowing how you want the work to be done. It's really fascinating, whether it's planning an Asana implementation, evaluating feedback, analyzing customer and analyzing a promotion or drafting customer responses. The results were really, fascinating. Yeah, in general, or I would say AI and AI Studio have enormous potential to really eliminate repetitive tasks and free up time. And with AI teammates that can work on more complex tasks, you free up even more time that you can use for more strategic work. Yeah.
Right. And very interesting. And thank you very much for, also being a beta customer here. What does AI mean for you personally, the way of working, and what is it for you
Yeah.
personally?
So, I personally see a huge opportunity in AI. So in AI general, for us as a company, we do struggle with the shortage of skilled workers. It's for some jobs, it's really hard to find people. So I think that AI can really help with that. It's as I mentioned in Asana, the integrated AI functionality is already like the status update or the AI in the workflows that eliminate those repetitive tasks and free up time. And with the AI teammate that does the complex work, the potential is even greater. For me personally, that means I focus less on the operational work and I just have more time for strategic work, planning, prioritizing, setting up structure and processes. And that's a huge advantage in my day-to-day work. I also think that AI and a software like Asana can also motivate people to come to work. It's a very modern way to work. It's a very fun way to work, and it motivates colleagues to come to work. And it's also for the company. It helps to be more attractive when recruiting new talents. So to sum it up, I really see an enormous potential in AI. That it changed the way we work to be more efficient and more future oriented.
Thanks for sharing. I think the demographic change we are seeing is like pushing us to be more open-minded and looking beyond the
we have to
borders.
find new solutions how to work.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, having said that, maybe you can give some piece of advice, you both. What advice do you have for other leaders, somewhere in the room, looking to transform the way their organizations work, especially reflecting on it's a very traditional company you're moving forward. Maybe Mara, starting with you, what can advice be?
I would say you really have to approach the implementation with clarity and also patience. Asana has an enormous potential, but the potential can only be realized if the foundation is set properly. So invest in training. There are a lot of functionalities and a lot of potential use cases in Asana. So it's really essential to train users. Also develop a key user program, key users who can drive the adoption from within the teams. Another point is to have management support. The leadership buy-in is also very crucial for their resources, but also to set the tone in the organization. So I would say with Asana and with the right approach to the implementation, you can really change how your teams work.
Clarissa. Thank you very much, Mara. Clarissa?
I would say a very important advice is that when you try to bring your workflows into Asana, just not try to digitalize the workflows, more map them and try to optimize them with Asana. I mean, it's like such a powerful tool and you have so many opportunities to use it. So it's the most important thing to have a look on them and make them even better. And the other thing is, that you tell your colleagues why and for what you're using Asana, and that it's not there to replace something or to replace another tool or to replace maybe their workplace something. Just make sure that they know what or why they're using it and for what they're using it.
Right. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. Thank you very much for leaning into that topic. To sum it up, I mean, we are just moving very fast in this economy. We have a lot of hurdles to overcome, but I think it's really important to be bold, to look into the future, especially what we see with KW Automotive. I love the statements like get rid of internal emails, being in prototype motion all the time. I mean, it's in your DNA. Thank you very much for sharing. Thank you very much for listening in.
Thank you.